This is Inside Arkansas Politics, a We the People, for the People movement with Courtney Roland, an Arkansas voice you can trust for truth and transparency.
Welcome to Inside Arkansas Politics. My name is Courtney Roldan. I am a mom, wife, conservative, and political activist when needed. For the last few years, it's been needed a lot. Since I started being more involved in politics, I have assisted with conservative campaigns, run for school board, joined my county Republican committee, and testified on bills during the legislative session. Through Facebook, I have been very transparent about my experiences, thoughts, and opinions during that time. Inside Arkansas Politics will be an extension of that. So if you follow me on Facebook for my witty political commentary, you will definitely want to stay tuned. This won't be a weekly or scheduled podcast, but if there are important Republican Party meetings or events, then you can expect a podcast about it, I'm sure. During the legislative session, you can also plan on a weekly podcast with the legislation and committee meeting recap of the ones that I'll be following. I plan to have other patriots join me at times, and maybe a few elected officials who are willing. Don't expect a politically correct or sugar-coated podcast, but you can expect unfiltered insights into the political landscape in Arkansas. The establishment may try to silence us, but that's when we get louder. Join me as we amplify the voices of grassroots activism in Arkansas. For today, I'm just going to give a quick rundown of the RPA State Convention and mention what was passed at the recent special session. A lot of information has been put out about the RPA Convention. I know the state convention chair, who is Jennifer Lancaster, she has been on the Dave Ellswick show. She's done interviews on Conduit News, and they also did a town hall in Faulkner County on Friday, where she just allowed the audience to just ask questions and she answered them. So there is a lot of information out about it. But for anyone who doesn't know, very clear that the grassroots Republicans showed up in full force and they voted to take the party back. And one big thing that they did was close the primaries and make it to where if you want to run as a Republican, once the primaries are closed, then you have to actually be a registered Republican. Shouldn't be any issue with that. We should not want Democrats voting in our primary, nor should we want elected officials running as Republicans who are not elected or who are not registered as Republicans. So that seems very much common sense to me. We did change the makeup of the state committee and made it to where all elected officials are now non-voting members. This is not crazy. This aligns with most states around us and with the Republican National Committee. During the RPA state committee meeting, when we elected our current RPA chair, it was very clear that the governor and other elected officials had entirely too much influence over that. And grassroots Republicans, regular Republicans elected at their Republican Women's Club or as district chair, were outnumbered by the elected officials. So it was very uneven, and it seemed that there was really nothing that would go the way of the regular people or grassroots because of so many elected officials automatically having a vote. So we did fix that. We did change some of the makeup of the district committee, made it to where constables are also automatically in the district committee, as well as all your local county elected officials. And now your county convention will elect another member from your county committee to be on the district committee for every elected official that is on the district committee. So, and then if you were at this state convention on June 8th, then you know that there was issues with the credentials committee not doing their job. They did not release the credentials list to the credentials committee members. And so there was just a lot of shenanigans going on with that. They tried to basically keep in control of the state convention, which is in the Republican Party, that is the final say on all party matters. Therefore, the state convention delegates who are elected at their county conventions should be the final say. And so We had RPA leadership trying to control that. They tried to make sure that they got what they wanted and kept the state convention delegates from hearing rules changes, which that did not work out in their favor. So we did change it to where the Platform and Rules Committee will be elected by each of the 4 district committees. So each district will now elect 3 members to the Platform and Rules Committee, and then the RPA chair will still pick the chair of those committees. There were several platform changes. Some of them were we added that we support the overturning of Roe v. Wade. We oppose globalist organizations, social credit scores, or support changing our laws for judicial elections to be partisan. We support the Freedom of Information Act as it was signed. We support medical and economic freedom and support election integrity and the use of paper ballots. Ever since that state convention, it seems like the RPA leadership thinks if they don't mention it, then it didn't happen. They have put out, except for the first week, they put out weekly newsletters which have had zero mention of the state convention. They have sent the electors that were elected at the state convention, they have sent that to the Secretary of State. So we know they clearly know that it was a legitimate convention. They know that everything we did is legitimate. They're just trying to ignore it because they don't like it. The convention chair, Jennifer Lancaster, has sent a copy of all the rules and platform changes to the county chairs. So if you want a copy, you could ask your county chair. They do have it. Or you can find it on conduitnews.com. Over the last few months, you've probably seen people gathering signatures for different petitions. There are, I think, 6 ballot initiatives. I know there's one for the Freedom of Information Act. There's one for an education one and a few others. And there's also one that would enshrine abortion into our Constitution. So we definitely want to decline to sign the abortion one. It would make abortion unrestricted up to 5 months pregnancy. And then after 5 months, there's exceptions for everything, basically, even digestive issues, which, as someone who has been pregnant, we all know that that is a common pregnancy symptom. So that would allow abortion up to birth. So we do not want to sign that. We do not want abortion enshrined in our Constitution at all. So I would encourage you, if you see anyone and they have the abortion amendment, please do not sign it. They only have a couple more days to get signatures, and hopefully they do not hit that number to get it on the ballot. There's also a petition to enshrine the Freedom of Information Act in our Constitution. We definitely want to sign that because we saw that even a red state tries to gut the Freedom of Information Act and take away your right to know. So we definitely want to sign the FOIA petitions. There's also people that are in your counties getting signatures for getting paper ballots on the November ballot. So I would encourage you to sign that. So yeah, they only have a couple more days on, I think there's 6 of the ballot initiatives. Do not support the education one. I do not support the abortion one. I do support the Freedom of Information Act one. So that's where I stand on those. And then about June 17th, I think it was June 17th, the legislature went into special session. They were supposed to focus on tax cuts and funding the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission that they did not fund during the fiscal session because they wanted a ridiculous pay increase for the director. They did end up funding that during the special session, gave a 5% pay increase. The director's pay went from $150,000 to $160,000. They did lower the income tax to 3.9% and raised the homestead tax credit from $425 to $500. Typically, your special session is supposed to be around 3 days, and we were all very thankful that on that 3rd day, they adjourned and they did not try to slip anything in. Nothing about the Freedom of Information Act and no misleading legislation about closed primaries. So we're very thankful that they got in and out in the 3 days. So today is Monday when I'm recording this. So the big news today is that the Supreme Court ruled that presidents have absolute immunity for official conduct. So that does help President Trump because obviously they're trying to throw him in jail and charge him with anything they can possibly come up with. So in the next days, I'm sure we will see how this is going to play out. The left is having a completely unhinged meltdown today. It's pretty disgusting, actually. So for today, that is all I have. Thank you for listening to my first Inside Arkansas podcast. All opinions here shared are mine and not representative of any groups that I'm involved with. So, and please follow me on Facebook at Inside Arkansas Politics and on YouTube at Inside AR Politics. Thank you. I'll see you next time.